I know.
Every time, even though sometimes we're late.
Yeah, sometimes we are human.
Sometimes it's not 5:30. And so everybody, we're starting to come live on all of our feeds.
There we go.
Super great to be with everybody today. And I know people will start popping on here in a minute, and we'll start seeing everybody. Well, welcome everybody to Monday Night Live.
It's the best night of the week.
We are super excited to join you tonight. My name's Dean Nixon, the lovely Kate Semmens out of sunny St. George with TurningLeaf Health and Wellness. And man, we are excited as we are getting into the middle of April.
I love it.
And the temperatures are really starting to turn for everybody. It's so cool to talk to my clients up in the northern states as they feel like they're starting to thaw out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just such a wonderful time of year.
Yes, I love spring. I think people, when they say, what's your favorite time of year, right? Like, it's easy for me to just say summer because summer life is fun. Like the pools, travel, all that kind of jazz. But really those transition phases, they just feel so lovely, right? Because we get through winter and it's like, the nice transition into summer. And then for us here, in Southern Utah, our summers are like scorchers. And so to get that relief from the heat as we transition into fall is always so I'm learning that about me, that really I love those transition places.
I so agree with you. And this year we actually have a spring.
Yes.
Normally we go straight from cold to hot and 2 weeks of nice, and we've had a really nice spring. So enough about the weather.
So there's your weather update in sunny St. George, Utah. So let's dive into our topic, because I'm really excited to have the conversation with you, Dean, about today's topic. So you guys, our topic today, just in a catchphrase, is when I know better, I do better. Like, how many of you have heard that, right? It's not like something that we came up with. That's just like a one of those like mantra phrases almost that people can really hold on to. But I'm excited to get into kind of actually diving in to the nuances of that today.
Right.
And to really like kind of pull it apart a little bit in the 20 minutes that we have that we get to spend with you guys on Monday, and really look at it in a way to be able to really use it to enhance our growth and to move our lives forward. That's what we're always trying to do as part of our practice here at Turning Leaf. It's one of the main reasons that we come live every Monday for you guys, is to give you tools and new perspective about different ways to be able to navigate your world and to help yourself grow, as well as those that you love. So when we know better, we do better. And I think the place that we want to start with this today, Dean, is on that knowing part.
Right.
Right. Let's maybe we can split it in half, like the phrase, right? In half. Right. So let's start with when I know better. Yeah. Does that sound good for everybody?
I love it. Yeah. A lot of hands go up right there.
Yeah. Yes. There you go. Thumbs.
Well, I love this because to me, it's a call to action.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I really enjoy. One of the key foundational stones of personal development is a call to action. In personal development, and the reason why, to me, personal development has been such an attractive course of direction for me in my life, is it takes you out of that passive state, or it takes you out of that victim mindset. And a lot of times we get stuck in the victim mindset. We get stuck in this passive neutral state. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, we don't progress. We kind of settle in. We settle in and we kind of get into that nice comfort zone. We get into those comfort zone thinking and comfort zone mindset. And that's why the whole idea of personal development is so powerful to me, and it's been such a passion of mine for so many years, and yours.
Yes.
Is because you're taking action for your life. It's putting you into a call to action to move you forward. So that idea of when you know better, you do better is when you know. Mm-hmm. And when you know means that you've got to know.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do we know?
I love that you put it that way. How do we know? So I was just reminded of, and we speak about this all the time, right? When we talk about when I look back at my life and I look at, like maybe the Kate from like 10 years ago and what she was struggling with. And most of the time we have the whole episode, you guys, about looking back to understand instead of to blame or to judge, right? Most of the time when we do that, it's like, oh my gosh, why did I not do this thing? Why did I not make this choice? Why did I stay stuck there, right? And I love, Dean, I love that you brought up the victim word, right? Because gets really cozy in that victim stance when we feel like a victim, or it's easy to be like, oh, I have this happen because of this, and this is the reason I do these things, right? Like it's really easy to get cozy in that victimization. And maybe we can talk about that a little bit here in a minute. But where my brain was going was, it's easy to look back and say, oh gosh, what was wrong with me then? Why didn't I make these choices or do this thing, right? Well, you're at a new place of where now you know,
right?
Like now we know better.
Right.
And at the time you didn't, like I didn't, at least. All I have is my lens to look at about myself, right? So I look at maybe some of the more kind of sticky places in my life where I would say that I was the most stuck.
Right.
And I'm like, oh gosh, why did I stay there for so many years? But I didn't know better.
Right.
I didn't know how to unstick myself. And now I have all this knowledge. So I get to figure out how to not look back on myself in judgment and say that. But that's part of that, because I do know better, I do better now.
Right. Yeah. And that it goes towards one of my favorite quotes by Dr. Moody, our stallion
Yes.
of a mentor in my life. And he always talked about the fact that you are making the best decisions you can make right now with the information that's in front of you. And later you'll have more information. And it's always easy to look back and judge yourself and to find yourself in the deficit falling short because you didn't have the information you do today. Mm-hmm. So it's not fair, it's not equitable to judge yourself based upon where you were then, because you do know more now. Mm-hmm. And I love that you've taken it to that space. And I think this is another piece that we have to really recognize, as far as, when you do know better, you do better. And it's this idea of, what is it that we fear the most? What do human beings fear the most? Death. We fear the unknown, right? We fear the unknown. That's what human beings fear the most. Let me just help you with that.
Thank you.
You were prompt. We fear the unknown, and the unknown is why we don't take risks, and we don't take healthy risks. Mm-hmm. We don't put ourselves out there. The unknown is why we lay awake at night and we imagine all the horrible things that could happen to a loved one or could happen to ourselves. Mm-hmm. The reason that we're so afraid of the unknown, or because we're so afraid of the unknown, is why individuals have control over how we feel. So it's very easy for the media and for other individuals in our lives to really affect our emotional state, because we're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of what they could do, or they're portraying to us a potential outcome that scares the crap out of us. Mm. And so they're laying out, oh, this could happen and that could happen and this could happen. And so all of the unknown creates all of this fear. Mm-hmm. So when you know better, you do better because of what you know. And really that's what we have to move forward. One way that we can do that is by trusting ourselves and trusting our present moment with the unknown based upon the known. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to the coping skill we're always talking about of evidence gathering. Mm. So in the evidence gathering, what I'm doing is I'm gathering all of the known information. I'm gathering all of what I do know, all of the experiences, the knowledge, my ability to take care of myself, the way that life is okay, the things that I've been able to overcome. And I take all of that known, and then I make decisions about the unknown based upon what is known, knowing that it's not going to be 100% accurate because I'm going to get more information.
Right.
But I'm going to base it because I know better. I'm going to do better. And I think there's a lot of times that we don't hang on to our evidence. We don't hang on to the truth of things. We don't hang on to what we do know. We hang on to what people are telling us or what the media is telling us. And we've seen that recently where people are really scared to death over things. And the media is really impacting that, or the environment or society is really impacting, because we believe more what they're saying than what we know.
Yeah, than what we're actually experiencing ourselves.
And so it's easy, because that's what we call it back in the day, fear mongering. Fear mongers, they would go around and they would create fear, and then they would try and give you solutions. And of course, you're going to feed into it. You're going to buy into the fear mongering. And it's a real term. Look it up. It's cool. It's in the dictionary.
Oh, and I love that you brought evidence into this to be able to navigate from the point that you're at. And I'm just going to also pull in another coping skill, which is faith and trust, right? Like if you look back at your faith and hope. Yeah, sorry, thank you. Look back at your experience and see how you've been able to overcome everything that if you're watching this right now, then you've survived every single day that you've ever lived so far.
Right.
And so to look back and gather that evidence, then knowing that about you, that you will have what you need in the moments that you need it to move your life forward in faith and trust, knowing that you'll get the knowledge. I love that it's just like we're just knowing and knowledge and all over the place today, just throwing those words out like crazy, to be able to handle the moment that you're going to be in at that time.
Right.
That you will be able to do better because you've known.
Right.
And you'll be able to create the life that you want from those experiences moving forward.
And ultimately, it leads to the piece that we're always pushing, which is to take accountability for your life.
Yes.
And taking accountability for your life moves us out of that victim position. And we have to stop being afraid of our lives. We have to stop being afraid of the choices that we've made in the past and the outcomes. And we have to stop being afraid of potential outcomes of things that we don't want. And we have to start literally living in our bodies, in our moment, in this space that we're in, instead of up here in our heads where we're trying to predict. And that's the funny part, is that we're living so much in our imagination, where your imagination is not the known world. Your imagination is not the known. And so because it's not known, we don't do better when we make decisions based upon what we're imagining. But we do better when we base information off of what we know to be true and what we know from our evidence and that faith and hope. And we do better in that situation. And that's where we have to really stop living so much in the fear of the unknown. And we have to really focus on that accountability piece.
Yes.
What am I accountable for? I'm accountable for me. I'm accountable for my body. I'm accountable for the environment that I can create within myself. I'm accountable for the way I respond or react to the people around me. I'm responsible accountable for my emotions. I'm responsible for them as well. I'm responsible and accountable, most importantly, for how I allow myself to think and see and feel about the world around me. And what am I going to do with those thoughts? What am I going to do with those feelings? And that's the part that I think is really powerful about that statement. When you know better, you do better.
Right. Because the accountability piece is in the I, right, of the statement, which, like, I love that we're just really busting this out, right? So when I know better, I can't blame it on anybody else.
Right.
I have to look at the I get to look at me,
right,
at the places where I know better and how I can then empower myself to do better.
Right.
I just think about like what just dropped right into my mind is in Frozen 2. When, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Frozen 2, maybe push a pause. So if you're really worried about what happens to Elsa and Anna, then you'll be okay, right? But there's
haven't seen it yet,
you haven't
so
seen it yet.
know.
Well, there's this beautiful moment where Elsa and Anna are separated, and Elsa's possibly no longer, that she's passed away. And so Anna has to move forward on her own. And she has this beautiful song about doing the next right thing. I remember you talking
about this.
Yeah. She has this beautiful experience of like just doing the next right thing, right? Yep. And that's another piece to this knowing better, doing better, right? When we know better, we don't have to do the next 50 right things, just the next one.
Yeah.
And to take accountability for it for yourself. What's the evidence I've gathered about how I can move my life forward in my capacity, right? And then taking the knowledge that you have about doing that and just do the next right thing.
Yeah. The next step forward.
That next step forward.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I always like to use, it's funny you use that one. I use the Santa Claus is Coming to Town movie.
Well, I don't know if I've seen that one.
I'm an old dude. But in that movie, it's, Kris Kringle's talking to this snow monster and he's trying to change. And he's like, well, what do I do? How do I move forward? And Kris Kringle says, you just put one foot in front of the other.
That's right.
And then there's that song,
one foot
in front of the other. And so that's great. Elsa and Kris
Santa.
Kringle,
Yeah,
it's just all about cold weather. And but it's about that foot forward, taking one step and pushing that step forward into the unknown and taking that next step. And I think that's such a critical thing for us to do, is to really just take that next step forward. And a lot of times we go, well, I don't know where to go. And I get this a lot. I get a lot of people that'll say, well, I just feel stuck, as you put it, the sticky parts of our life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's times that we are more stuck than others. And it's hard. It's such a struggle at times to just go, well, where do I go? Because I can't see where to go.
Right.
And this is probably where most of us struggle. I can't see where to go. And I will promise you this much. I can promise you this, and you can come and hold me accountable. I can promise you that if you push your foot forward, metaphorically, if you push that one step forward into the darkness, you're going to either make one big step forward or you're going to stub your toe and change direction. But regardless, whether you stub your toe and change direction or whether you get no resistance, you will be able to know where to go. But you can't get anywhere by not taking a step forward. Mm-hmm. And that's the part where a lot of us just settle. And I see it happening all the time. And we're just settling. We're just like, well, This is as good as life is going to get. Now, we have it pretty good here in North America. We have it good in Europe. We have it good in other areas of the world where, we really don't have to worry about as much stuff as people do in other parts of the world or other generations of time. My great-grandfather, for example, and my great-great-grandfather, who had to worry where the next meal was coming from. And they had to live differently than we do. But because of it, I think it's kind of lulled us into a level of self-doubt.
Yeah.
And a level of self-entitlement and a level of comfort where we just don't want to move forward at all. Mm-hmm. And that complacency, that fear has affected us. But I also, as I beat this drum, I do believe that there is a level where social media is scaring the bejeebas out of people.
Yes.
It's scaring you to make a mistake. It's scaring you to use your voice. You don't want to say what's in your heart. You don't want to say what's on your mind. You don't want to share your opinion. And they call it the something or culture. What is it? Cancel.
Oh, the cancel
culture.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's this cancel culture. And because that cancel culture is so predominant, we're not moving forward in so many aspects of our lives. Because we're afraid that somebody's going to video it, somebody's going to comment on it, somebody's going to post about it, somebody's going to respond to a post. Mm-hmm. And so as a consequence, we're up here not living and knowing. We're not really knowing better and doing better because of it.
Right. Which we might as well just like point it out as specific as we can, because that do is the action item, right? It's getting in and actually participating in life, taking the one foot in front of the other or doing the next right thing. Do it. Get your experience into motion. And Dean, I love that you brought up, once again, so much of this has to do with faith and hope, right? Like just having the faith to take that next footstep forward will either illuminate your path, and I love how you said, or stub your toe, right? Because then you'll know you need to shift a little bit, that wasn't the most healthy or working experience for you. So we have accountability.
Yep.
We have evidence gathering. We have faith and hope, and we have action.
Yeah.
When I know better, I do better.
Yeah. And I will tell you this much, people. The only thing that's going to come from stubbing your toe is building a callus. So you might as well start stepping out into the darkness. It ain't going to kill you.
Mic drop.
It ain't going to kill you.
Nah, no one never died from a stub toe. I don't think.
Nobody.
Not a single anybody. Well, we love you guys. We are out of time. It's been 20 minutes. Thank you for all the hearts and the thumbs. You guys have no idea how much that really does help as we speak at all these screens. And thank heaven we have each other, right, buddy?
Yeah.
To have a conversation with.
That's true. We appreciate you and appreciate you liking and sharing our videos. We're very, very grateful. We're excited. We have a group of individuals going through level 1 seminar this week. So those of you that have been through that process, please make sure you reach out and show a lot of love to the individuals that will be participating in that.
Yeah.
Super stoked, super excited.
Yeah. Just if you want to know, we are always around here looking to move that next foot forward, to push out into the darkness a little bit more. So if you want to come and do that with us, we would love to have you. Also, as always, take this to the water cooler, to your dinner tables, have conversations about taking accountability, getting your life moving in the direction that you want to go, and getting just that action item. I love it. You know me, I'm always all about that action item.
Yep.
Move your feet. That's right, Justin. Absolutely love it. So until next Monday Night Live, we hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we will see you next Monday Night Live.
Good night.
Bye.
Oh, there it is up there.
You got that one?